Everyone, hope you all are doing well. So today we are going to do topic 18 of paper 2. So here we will discuss plant genetic resources, center of origin and law of homologous series. These three topics. So first of all we are discussing what is plant genetic resources, that is PGR. It is the sum total of hereditary material. It is the sum total of hereditary material, that is all the alleles of various genes present, all the alleles of various genes present in crop species and its wild relatives. So this is what is plant genetic resources. It is the sum total of all hereditary material, that is all the alleles of various genes present in crop species and its wild relatives. It is also known as germplasm, also known as germ plant, genetic stock, germ plant, genetic stock, or gene pool, etc. What is the importance of its conservation? Importance of conservation of PGR, that is plant genetic resources. First of all, it represents entire genetic variability or diversity in crop. It represents entire genetic variability and diversity of crop species. It consists of land races, modern cultivars, obsolete cultivars, breeding stocks, wild species of cultivated crops and wild species of cultivated crops. It includes both cultivated and wild species and relative of crop plants. It includes both cultivated and wild relatives, that is wild species of cultivated crops or wild relatives of cultivated crops. It is collected from centers of diversity, gene banks, gene sanctuaries, farmers field, markers and seed companies. It can be both indigenous and exotic. It can be both indigenous and exotic. Moving on to the next importance for its conservation. It is basic material for launching crop improvement program. Basic material for launching crop improvement program. So there are four methods we basically use in crop improvement. So we'll discuss here. First one is introgression. Here we transfer genes through recombination. Example, for example, with resistance genes can be transferred here. B, that is incorporation. It is to make narrow genetic base to wider availability. To make narrow genetic base to wider availability, wider genetic base. Suppose a crop plant is very narrow in genetic base. It is growing in a certain narrow location, certain 1-2 locations. But when we do make it wider genetic base, it can be grown in wider areas in many locations. We can do wide hybridization. Here we cross cultivated species through wild species. Number D is marker based research. Here it is done to study diversity. So these were the 4 methods used in crop improvement program. Now moving on, what is center of origin? These are plant genetic resources. I hope you all understand it. Now moving on, what is center of origin? It is geographical area where the particular group of organism, and is the geographical area where particular group of organisms either domesticated or wild first originated on earth. So it is a geographical area where particular group of organism first originated on earth. So there are 8 major centers where maybe the origin of a particular species or group of species or group of organism is there. The first one is Chinese center. Second is Himalayan center. Third is Mediterranean center. Fourth is Absasian center. Fifth one is Central Asian center. Sixth one is Asia Minor center. Asia Minor. Seventh one is Central American center. And eighth one is South American center. So these are the 8 centers. Now moving on to the next topic of this session. Hope you understand what center of origin is. Next topic of this session is law of homologous ridge. So it is also known as law of or concept of parallel variation. It was given by Vavilov, P-A-V-I-L-O-V, Vavilov. So it states that a particular variation observed, that it states that a particular variation observed in a crop species is also expected to be available in its another related species. So what is this law of homologous ridge? It is said that a particular variation in observed in a crop species, a particular variation that is observed in a crop species is also expected to be available in its related species. I hope you all understand it. Now how this law of homologous variation is helpful in helpful in genetic resource conservation. This is genetic resource conservation and utilization. First of all, for example, we can understand here. If we get how it is helpful, we are going starting this first point. For example, if we get a dwarf collection in one species, we get dwarf collection in one species. The same may be observed in another related species also. Suppose there is a dwarf collection in one species of crop, same will be available in another related species also. That is, characters found in one species is also occur in related species. The characters in one species also occurs in its related species. Secondly, if a species in an area suffers genetic erosion, if a species in an area suffers, let it suffer genetic erosion. One species suffers genetic erosion, it can be restored using its wild relatives using introduction method. So if it suffers genetic erosion, it can be restored using its wild relatives using introduction method. Thirdly, breeders can seek and final desired characters and variation in different species in infinite world. So breeders can get final desired characters. Breeders will get the final desired characters in different varieties and various characters and variation in different varieties in infinite world of variety of cultivated species, in infinite world of cultivated species. Why I am using here this line? Because suppose when breeder has to find one variety from one species also, so there is a not so much species available there. There is only one species from where it has to take this desired character. But when it can be taken from its relatives also, wild relatives, cultivated relatives, it gives breeders an infinite option to take the characters from it. I hope you understand it. Number 4, it helps in study of mechanism of evolution. So it helps in study of evolution. So I hope you understand this. So this was all about law of parallel variation and how it was helpful in genetic resources conservation and utilization. So that's all for today. Hope you understand everything. For any queries, do comment. If you like it, please press the like button, do share and subscribe. Keep making notes, keep value adding to notes. As I say in every session, that the notes you are going to make are your Brahmastra. Most of the questions will be directly from the topics I am going to teach, and the notes I am using most, but around every question will be directly from the topics I am going to teach. So keep making your notes, keep value adding to your notes. That's all for today. Have a nice day. Thank you.